There we go. There we go. Now
There
we
we
should be
go.
officially on live.
Christmas
Hey guys,
show.
Christmas show. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Johnny and the Greg, our Christmas show. Because I think when this comes out, it will literally be a day before Christmas Eve.
Mhm.
Yeah, we both got the ugly sweaters on.
Unless you're listening right now, in which case it's the week of Christmas, and this is our Christmas show. So
Yeah,
there you go.
So if you could do us a fantastic favor, guys, if you could like and subscribe, follow the Christmas spirit, that would help us out. We also have a partnership with Audible. Greg, tell us a little bit about Audible while I drink some whiskey.
Sure do. So we have a partnership with Audible where you right now could gift yourself 1 free month of Audible by going to audibletrial.com/JATG for thousands upon thousands of audiobooks, podcasts, educational material to get you in the Christmas season, or just something to get you through that Christmas break where you want to chill out. You're sick of the Hallmark movies. You've already watched Die Hard a couple times and you just want something you can laugh, cry, have an adventure. Go to audibletrial.com/JATG. John?
God, you're getting really good at that, sir. You're getting good at that. Yeah.
On a roll.
Yes, on a roll. Speaking of, I guess I don't know how to transition from on a roll to Spider-Man. So there's the transition.
Winging over to Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know we've been Spider-Man heavy real recently, but we just saw the movie. Seems like all my family has seen the movie that wanted to see the movie. And your thoughts, Greg?
Well, we gotta set some parameters here before we really get into it. Are we doing spoilers or are we not?
You know what?
Because it's really going to change the conversation.
Yeah, it'll very much change the conversation. We didn't even discuss this before.
Hold on. I can already see Marshall's on. Marshall, did you see the movie yet?
Yeah.
Did you see No Way Home?
Yeah, let us know, Marshall.
Because if not, I don't want you to log off, but you might want to.
Yeah. What's he saying? Anything?
He said he loves your sweater. So, okay. Well, fair warning. I think I don't think we could. Oh, Marshall, buddy, he says not yet.
Okay. All right. So what do you want to do, Greg? Since it's Christmas, season of giving.
Let's start with our general reactions, and then if we really get into it, maybe we can hit. We'll throw up a spoiler warning or something. But so in general, John, you came up to the theater. We watched it together.
Yep.
What'd you think? Okay, good.
No, I'm the reason why I didn't.
I mean, what's the?
Yeah, I'm speechless because I loved it. I loved every part of it. I felt like it was a love story to Spider-Man. I was going to go further into that, but if I went further into it, it would give away certain parts of the movie. So that's why I'm not.
Is it the best Marvel movie ever?
No.
Okay, there's a start.
Yeah, no, I don't believe it is. It's up there for me. People have asked me, do you think it's the best Spider-Man movie ever? And my answer is yes to that. I just got done watching the one that I think everybody kind of clings to, thinking that that's his best Spider-Man, and that's Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire, Doc Ock.
Okay.
I watched that today, so it's very fresh in my head, and it doesn't hold a candle to the new one. I could be prisoner of the moment.
Okay.
I feel that's very cheesy. There's parts that are very cheesy, and the more I watch Toby, I don't like his role. Now at the time I think this
it's all we had. I mean, let's be honest.
At 2004, like when we say like the
when Fantastic
it came out, I remember
movie.
thinking, yeah, all right, good job, Toby.
Well, there's a couple pieces to that because we did a binge watch, not all in one day, but we took a couple weeks and went, or in weeks. We took a couple days and went through, the first Spider-Man film, and then we watched Spider-Man 2.
Right.
Skip Spider-Man 3 because it's a piece of shit, and then went on to the Andrew Garfield. And
I'm in the middle of Spider-Man 3 right now.
I can't take it. It's so bad. But the reason I think it's so bad is the same reason I think you find the first two that cheesy, is that it's Sam Raimi. And when you know Sam, And when you know Sam Raimi and you know his filmmaking style,
Yes.
especially at the time, like you go back and you watch the Evil Dead series, you go back and even watch Darkman. He has a style, and it is very campy, and it is very,
that's a better word. It's better campy.
It's almost B movie esque.
Yeah.
And then he brought that into Spider-Man, which, because he was like, I'm making a comic book film, I need to make it comic booky. And we're like, no, you don't, man. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And so even what, because I still really like Spider-Man 2. I love Alfred Molina's performance as Doc Ock.
Yes.
And it's cheesy. Like we're watching it.
Actually, I'm not taking away any of the performances. They were doing what they were supposed to.
But you're right. It's campy. We're watching it with the kids, and they've seen it before, but now they're like seeing it with different eyes because they're teenagers and they understand a lot more.
Yes.
The bank robbery scene where he's like chucking bags of gold coins at Spider-Man, and you're like,
coins. Yes.
The kids are like, why is he stealing coins? Like, what? Who does that? Where's the cash, man? I mean, just kind of that whole deal. We're like, you're right, but this is a comic book film. I mean, it had everything but like the dollar symbol on,
or the little bubbles when they were thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Or when they were thinking. Yeah. I felt, I think you're right. I think Raimi's was very campy. That's where I came across going, there's nothing serious to this.
Right.
I don't feel it's serious.
The humor is not that funny.
Yeah.
And there's really
train
nothing
fight
serious
scene,
about it.
I think that's what people remember.
That's cool.
Which is fantastic.
That's right.
It's a great scene. But I think this one, Spider-Man No Way Home, is the best Spider-Man movie. And the way I feel about the Home trilogy, I think you would call it, is it's basically all three are origin stories. It's if you were to put those all together, it's one giant origin story.
It is now. Yeah. I see where you're going with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it came to me like an epiphany when I was sitting there talking with my sister Kim, who is just, this woman has never texted me this much. And she is just, what about this part? What about this part? There's this part cool? Was this cool? And it's great. I love it that she was that excited about it. So I was
when Johnny gets excited about something.
Yeah.
It's like a family trait. So, okay. I understand what you're saying with the origin story. And what I love.
It's hard to do this.
It's a little bit. I'm trying to keep it general. We're going to go into spoiler territory here pretty quick because we're going to run out of real discussion.
Things to say. Here. Not only that, I want to throw out. Go ahead. Finish your thought, and then I'll continue.
So, okay. Part of my real enjoyment with this film, and I don't think it's not my favorite Marvel film. It is very good.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I think, very grounded in Sony, and you can see where there's a real big turn back to Sony in this film, and I can explain that when we get to the spoiler section.
Yeah, I'd like you to go in depth on that one,
because there's the effect on the Marvel universe at the end of this film. It affects Sony and it affects the MCU, but for the most part, I see now where we're going to see possibly Marvel and Sony kind of going the different ways,
splitting off.
Some of the predictions that we made, some are very true.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are not true at all. Mm-hmm. Some of the things that we thought would be really, really cool to see, and that's got to be what's going to happen, right? Nope, not at all.
Not at all.
So it really kept it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, everybody did a really nice job. I can see this is still a very great entrance point for some people and an exit point for others.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. In your opinion, is it in your top 3 Marvel movies of all time? Now, the problem is you're very good at, I don't know if I'm prisoner of the moment right now. So
correct. And that's why that's my pause. That's my take a breath, because if you were to ask me yesterday when we walked out of the theater, I was like, oh yeah, top 3. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So you were riding off of a high on the way out, were you?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can never tell with you.
This is very, I laughed, I cried. I mean, it was one of those.
Did you actually cry? I was going to ask you about that. There was a certain scene when I
shed a tear. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. When I looked over at you and I saw you crying, I was kind of just joking. I didn't know you actually were. I heard a sniffle.
It wasn't. And I'm fighting a cold. So you're
right.
Like,
so I didn't know.
Yeah,
exactly.
It wasn't at that scene. It was
Okay.
at a later scene.
A later scene. Okay.
That really just tugged at me. And I was like, and I didn't expect it. Like in that scene,
Right.
which I expected, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that happened. It played out great. Loved how they did it. And then later on, there's another scene that pulls at your heartstrings, and you're like, oh.
The first scene that
All
I'm
about
talking
that.
to you about. The first
Okay,
thing I'm
well,
talking about.
hold on. We'll get into that in a second because this is
No. I can do this without doing a spoiler. I can do this
I know,
absolutely
but
without.
let me finish my thought anyway.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The idea of riding that high. I'm
Yes.
gonna say no, it's not in my top 3 of Marvel films, but I'm gonna say it's in my top 5.
Okay, that's fair enough. It's in my top 3. I was thinking
Okay.
about it all day. It's definitely in my top 3.
So
Somebody asked me, is it better? Because for a long time, probably still now, one of my all-time favorite ones is Captain America Winter Soldier.
okay, Winter
I
Soldier.
love that one. And somebody asked me, is it better than that for you? I said, it might actually be, because what they pulled off is amazing to me, and I can't shake that. And
Right.
if we were to go into spoilers, I could go more into how truly amazing that really is. And so I think we might be venturing there now, because you're right, we're running out of stuff.
So okay. Well, so let's give the people, we got some people on now.
Okay.
Let's give them quick.
We might lose all of them.
We might. Let's give them a quick toast to the Packers for them squeaking out a win.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
Out a win by the skin of their ass. I'm not necessarily sure they deserved it. We got to fix our special teams, folks, because holy shit, that's not a Super Bowl level team right now. Not a chance.
They're awful hard on that team.
I'm totally hard on that team.
Yeah,
yes, and I should be. They should be better.
Okay.
Dropping punt returns.
Have they only lost 3 games?
Not only dropping, but going through the legs of
I don't want to hear about your bullshit that your Packers have won, but you're not happy with how they won. Shut up. Be a Bear fan for at least a year and tell me how happy you are. Just
I'd be miserable.
Be happy they won.
I can be.
Yeah, it's the NFL. It's not every game's easy. Ravens are always tough. Anyway,
so that guys, being said,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
for those of you that have to drop off.
We're about to go full on spoiler. Drop off for a little bit. If you come back, we're still talking Spider-Man. You might want to leave again. We have some other stuff to talk about, but we gotta go through Spider-Man.
If you're good friends to us, message us any way you can, and we'll let you know if we're still talking about it or not, if you're really not sure. So Marshall, thank you for watching. Get off right now. Get off. We were ggoing to ruin this.
Love you, buddy. Cousin Clay's on, so it sounds like he's seen the movie. So here we go.
Cool. All right.
Spoilers. Full on spoilers.
Oh,
holy shit.
For those of you that decided to hang tight, I want you to start throwing questions at us, because I want to discuss, because there's a lot of stuff that was hung out in the air. I'll give you an example. Like, what is Peter's final spell? What's that? What is that? What exactly is that? Why couldn't Strange take the box from Peter when he pushed his aura out of him?
Yes. What was that about?
I think I have a theory. I have no idea, but I thought, let's talk about that. So yes, let's start from the beginning. Holy fucking shit. They did it. They did it. They did it. They pulled it off. I didn't think they could. Nobody thought they could.
No,
they pulled it off.
Not only did they pull it off, I mean, because when we talked about the multiverse, and we talked about, I had to make a little listen check to make sure my family that hasn't seen it was not.
Yes.
They pull it off. I mean, just when we talked about the multiverse and bringing in the other Spider-Man from the other films, we thought for sure it was going to be this one-off. They show up at the last battle at the Statue of Liberty. It's going to be like, we're here. Let's work together. I mean, they were a part of the film. They had pages of dialogue together.
Yep.
And when we talked about the scene that I got the sniffles at, and something got caught in my eye, it was not at Aunt May's death. Another spoiler. It wasn't there. It was later when the 3 of them were processing that, and they're each talking about what was their pain
on top of that building.
On top of the building, when Peter's just like, oh my
devastated.
God. And Peter 1 was like, hey, when Uncle Ben died, he's like, yeah, and then Peter too's like, yeah, my Uncle Ben too.
Yeah.
Aunt May, and then with great power comes great responsibility line comes out, and it just hits all of them like a brick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that all three of them, there that much man feeling just all in that one spot was so intense.
Yeah. I'm so impressed that egos were dropped, because didn't Andrew get fired? Right?
No, not
He
fired.
didn't get fired from Sony. Sony didn't fire him.
Not like fired, like, we don't think you're doing a good job, it's time to go.
It was just fired. We're not doing another Spider-Man.
It was
with you.
It was Marvel's creating this really cool universe, and we're going to partner with them to do, high school age.
Oh, okay. I thought it was okay.
And Andrew Garfield was like 30 already.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
Because I'm pretty sure he's like not too south of our age.
Okay.
I'm going to look that up while we discuss.
So, so I was impressed that they got everybody. They got they got Hayden Christensen.
Yes.
For the finale. Yeah. They got the actual
impressive
doctor. Yeah. They got the actual doctor from the Lizard to show up. They put everybody in this movie, and there wasn't a moment where I felt that they hurried.
Right. Well, and that, when you hear that they're going to make here's the thing, that was 2 hours and 40 minutes of movie, which is long.
Right.
Even for a Marvel film. I mean, it is a long film, but nothing felt rushed. Everything felt developed.
Yes, I agree.
And at the end, you're like, okay.
Wow. Okay. You pulled it off. Yeah.
Yep.
It was great. So if you guys don't know already, spoiler alert, we've already said it 100 times. Toby and Andrew come in and help our Tom Holland figure out the last part. And it's great because there was mentorship there.
Yep.
There was finding out what happened to both of them in their own universes. There was a funny little thing with the organic web versus manufactured web shooting. Yep. There was the whole one of my favorite lines is when he was like, guys, I'm not trying to brag here, but I was with the Avengers, and the Avengers, what's that?
Who are they? That sounds great.
Yeah. And then Andrew going, oh, is that a band? Are you in a band? Like, that was funny.
All those little like one-off jokes and stuff like that were great.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked how we got to see the history of the implied history, where
Andrew,
no, the other one, Toby, where there's a part where one of the villains looks at Toby's like, Peter, you've grown up.
Yeah.
And because like Tobey Maguire's in his 40s and Andrew Garfield's 38, so he would have been 34 when they wanted to remake Spider-Man in high school, and he's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So, and then with him, with Andrew Garfield, there's another piece where like he's interacting with the villains from his universe, and they're like, man, what happened? And he's like, I hit a bad spot. He's where they're like, he's like, I went dark.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, I think it's long enough, we can spoil Amazing Spider-Man 2, where when Gwen Stacy died, he's like, I went to a bad place, a very, very dark, bad place. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're continuing character development from those earlier films.
Yes.
In this one.
Yes. And you're getting enough. Awesome. And you're getting enough to almost go, well, I kind of want to see that. Like,
how
bad you go, Andrew? Like, how?
Yeah, like,
I
want to see Andrew Garfield be Spider-Man. I want to see him go dark.
Yeah, see him get himself out of it. Yeah, I would love to see that. Even if that's a animated thing, I'd like to see that.
Yeah. You're still amazing.
Daredevil showing up, that's cool. And it's perfect how it matches right now with Hawkeye. Spoiler alert for any of that. That's cool how that kind of lines up. I don't know if that's going on the exact same time. It looks like it might at the end.
You think it was Christmas time at the end?
Well, at the end, when he's doing his little patrol and he jumps out, he goes over a Christmas tree.
Does he? He
Yeah.
does. You're right.
Yes.
He does.
Yeah. So that might be, that's where it happens there. So
okay.
Anyway, that's just a small thing.
But again, Matt Murdock showing up.
Yeah.
And, the buzz last week was Kevin Feige said, well, if Daredevil comes back into the MCU, then yes, we'd like to cast that actor.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Yes. Charlie Cox.
Yeah, like Charlie Cox. Yeah, we'd like to welcome him back in the MCU if we do another Daredevil piece.
Yes.
So many, okay, so the Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire thing, everybody knew was coming. That was, like you said, the worst kept secret in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
What they did keep secret was how much they were going to be in there and
Correct.
what kind of role they were going to play, like how important they were.
Yes.
And Charlie Cox, no one knew about. Like I
knew, but
you knew, but you didn't know he was.
I didn't know. I knew Charlie Cox. I knew that. Here's what I knew. I guess I didn't officially know until I saw him, but I knew Peter got a lawyer, and I thought, well, this is the perfect time to put that guy in there. Unless they were showing Jennifer Walters. Those are the only two.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, Jennifer Walters. Yeah, that could be, or it could have been Foggy Nelson, but no, they actually brought in Matt Murdock.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You know what, people. Okay. When May got hit, this is a bad part for me. Okay. When May went through her trauma,
took her shot. Yeah,
she took her shot. She got up. I thought, I was for a small moment going, oh, she's not going to die. Like, I was like, oh, and then when she was, I was like, oh God, no, take that back. I take that back. I'm sorry. Don't take her. Like, I got emotional there because I've always had an emotional side for May, because May always reminds me of my mom a little bit. Just if you want to find a part of you for that character, that's kind of where I'm at with that. I can see that. But it was Tom. I think one of the hardest things to do is act like you're actually grieving.
Okay.
And how Tom reacted to all of that,
right?
It was really impressive. I think the biggest shock, it's not a shock, it's a little confusing to me about the final spell. That part's a little confusing to me. And so I guess if anything, we're switching to that transition point now, guys, where if you have any questions, if you were leaving the theater asking yourself, that didn't make sense, let's talk about that. I'm not saying we're going to figure it out, but let's talk about it. The first question I have is the moment when Peter grabbed the box, takes off, Doctor Strange whips him, brings him down, hits his astral plane out, and he tried to grab the box. The hand kept moving away from him. I have a theory. I think it was his spider sense that wouldn't allow him to do that. Like, his spider sense was still going, and it wouldn't allow
in the physical world. Okay.
Yeah, it still wouldn't allow. It was like a built-in, like, I don't know, like alarm. That's the only thing I can think of. I can't think of anything else.
That makes sense. It may take us a long time to explain that. I think it's going to be because I have no idea. I didn't ponder on it. I was like, that's interesting. They'll tell me the answer when I'm supposed to know.
Okay.
So that was my piece on that.
Yeah. I brought my little cousin Mateo there, and me and Mateo said, oh, I think it's spider sense. What do you got? You got something?
Cousin Clay says, I wonder if the other Peters had to forget it, or if it's just Tom Holland's Peter.
Had to forget what? That he was Spider-Man?
Yeah. I think they forget too.
I think everybody forgets.
Well, and that's, because wasn't that was part of the spell where it was every universe had to forget that Peter Parker was Spider-Man,
so that no
one would try to cross over.
Right. Okay, so let's go over to the spell. This is what the spell actually was. The first spell that Peter broke. He kept complicating it, and the biggest thing that I think a lot of people didn't see is when it started going crazy, Peter shot out a line real quick saying, I want everybody that knew I was Spider-Man to still remember.
Yeah.
That, I thought was a genius way because it kind of simplified why these guys are coming back. Now, the only people I don't remember Jamie Foxx like Electro. I don't remember Electro knowing he was Peter Parker, but I guess he would if he was hanging out with Harry Osborn.
Yeah, I guess I would have to go back and watch that film again because that's one I didn't.
Yes. So one I didn't see.
Yeah.
But
no, I saw it. I chose to forget it.
Oh, no. What I mean is I didn't. That's the only one I wasn't 100% sure that he knew it was Peter Parker. But anyway, that brought every villain back.
Yeah.
As well as the other two Spider-Men, because whoever knew who Spider-Man was as Peter Parker came to that universe.
Right.
Kind of. I mean, there was no Gwen, there was no Mary Jane, but
okay, but and to Cousin Clay's point here, when the Strange cast his final spell,
yes,
and people in the multiverse forgot that who Spider-Man was, does that mean Toby's MJ, who I believe they're married, does that mean she forgets that who Peter Parker is, or does she forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man?
Oh, you mean I mean, there is so much to talk about their universes that they go back to because all their villains are like cured, I guess.
They're cured, but they're still, if they were returned to their universe, like to the same point they were, like Doc Ock's gonna die.
No, not really.
Like, you think he can still drown the machine and not die?
No. Here's the thing that a lot of people didn't pick up on that. When he came there, he was asking Peter, where'd you take my machine? When we left Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2, and this is fresh in my head, he already turned good and was drowning the thing, and he died a hero.
Yeah.
This Doc Ock that got transferred hadn't done that yet.
He hadn't done that yet. So that means Spider-Man 2 didn't really happen.
At the end of Spider-Man 2 didn't happen.
Right.
Where he kills himself. So they're both going to reappear, but I'm guessing Peter's going to reappear when he was taken or when he jumped through the portal.
Oh, they were in our world when they jumped through those portals.
Right. I know that. But what I'm saying is, okay. But that's an older Peter Parker they got. They didn't get the Peter Parker from Spider-Man 2.
That's true.
Yeah, they got an older Peter Parker. So to answer your question, Clay, I do believe that everybody then I would think it went to everybody.
I think so.
Right. Or just the people that were in that. No, because that's how they closed up at the end, was sending that wave through the entire multiverse. Right.
Yeah.
So now nobody knows
that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Now, here's the other piece that I got confused by with the spell.
Yes. We're talking about the final spell.
The final spell. Everybody knows Spider-Man still exists. Like, they understand that he's an Avenger. He was, maybe.
Is he an Avenger?
Well, yeah, because the Avengers are still there. They think he still killed Mysterio. So, like, the Spider-Man persona is still there, but no one has attached Peter Parker. Like, everybody forgot who Peter Parker was. Okay, everybody forgot Peter Parker. Now, because at first I was like, well, do they know Peter Parker and they know Spider-Man? They just didn't make the connection. But no, everybody's forgotten about Peter Parker. Right. Or else he would still have his friends. But Spider-Man still exists. Well, I thought that was weird. Where was I going with that? How is, like, because the discussion we had with members of my family that saw it were, okay, so is Peter like, is it like It's a Wonderful Life for him, where like no one remembered, like there's no record of him, there's no,
that's what I'm confused about.
He doesn't have a social security number. I mean, how did that work? Or did they just, because the spell was that people would forget, so like their memory has been erased.
Okay,
but so what about like all the what about all the electronic stuff, all the video stuff, I mean, did the internet get wiped then, or how does that work? Okay,
all right. I've never watched this show, but I've heard about this one point, and I'm taking this from somebody else that I can't give the credit to because I can't remember, because I was looking for any of these answers myself. There's a Doctor Who episode where there's aliens that if you look at them, you're looking at them, you're talking to them. The minute you avert your eyes from them, you forgot they existed.
Okay.
Okay. So maybe it's something with that where it's like, better example. Do you remember how Dick Grayson, when he joined Spiral, anytime somebody saw his face, they just saw this, they just saw like
Okay.
a swirl.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something with the spell where when they're around Peter, they don't remember knowing him.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
I
Again,
don't
we're
know.
not going to answer these.
Right.
This is up for the guy in the hat to answer this. Because I think you're right. Like, okay, so was he never in school? Do they not?
Well, that's
remember?
what I mean. In his box, they show like a GED preparation. So you're like, okay, he's going to go for his high school diploma. But then you're like, he's a super smart kid. And I've seen that test. He can pass it now.
Yeah.
So what is he doing? Like, is there no record of Peter Parker anywhere?
That's where it's weird. Yeah.
Which to me then is like, is he going to change his name? Will he all of a sudden become Ben Reilly?
Yeah.
Or which made me shiver at that thought.
Yeah,
but,
of course. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of unanswered stuff. There's a lot
what
of
do you think, Clay?
things.
What does Clay think? What does he think? Does he think that
well, that's well, if you type something, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I mean, but hang on. My question to Clay is: does Clay think that there is no record of Peter Parker, or is it just people that met him don't remember him?
Yeah, because even my daughter was like, "Well, he'll get like Aunt May's life insurance policy, right? So he's got some money to live off of." I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like
they didn't answer that well.
You're like, yeah, because literally after May passed, the people in his inner circle,
yes,
that know that he's Peter Parker or that Peter Parker is Spider-Man don't remember him. The rest of the world has like made the disconnect. It's like they just don't remember that Peter was out.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But the people that were closest to him don't remember him.
Don't remember him at all. Yeah. So Cousin Clay said people that met him, people that know, don't remember him.
Don't remember Peter Parker. Yes.
So
that's how I'm taking it. Yeah.
So I think that means he's still like in the system, because if he's renting an apartment in New York, he must have had some form of ID that checked out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think we've solved that. So the people that were in his inner circle do not remember him anymore. They know there's a Spider-Man, but to them it's like, oh, hey, what's your name? Oh, your name's Peter Parker. Nice to meet you. You know, they don't remember having any type of connection. But the rest of the world, he still has a social. He's still.
I don't know. There's flaws there, man.
Of course there's flaws.
There's flaws, and I think they left it way open. They could have closed that circle. They could have said, essentially what they wanted to do is make Peter Parker alone. Like that was the, like, take away his world completely so that he is at square one, sewing his own spider suit, making his own web fluid again.
Right.
No more Stark tech, no more super science.
Which is what I've always had the problem with. So that's why I love it. That's why I thought it was a beautiful, all three of them are a beautiful origin story put together. You know?
Clay makes a good point here. He says the spell isn't perfect because that post-credits scene, there's some black goo left behind that I think is going to know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Okay. So I guess the next question is, how does Venom know? Does Venom know because of the other symbiote in Spider-Man 3?
Did you see Let There Be Carnage?
No.
Okay. There's a post-credit scene in Let There Be Carnage where Venom.
But why were they brought there?
I don't know how, but Venom has full knowledge of the multiverse, like the symbiote does.
Okay, so he knows from the other symbiote.
Yeah. And
in
then
Spider-Man 3.
No, I don't know about that, but Venom says, he's like, hey, Eddie, want to know something really cool about the multiverse? And Eddie's like, oh, that's the multiverse. And Venom he's like, here, let me show you. And then something happens. Could have been
had to be strange.
Could have been the snap, could have been strange, could have been things that happen in Loki. I mean,
okay,
any of those things, they get ported over to the MCU.
Okay.
From the Sonyverse to MCU, and like they're just checking it out, and that's where we see Eddie at the end. He's like, wait, there's more super people?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. But then that little chunk that gets left behind, that little Venom baby,
Yeah.
Maybe it knows, maybe it doesn't know, but it's going to
I
go
think
find Spider-Man.
the last thing it knew was that we were going to New York to talk to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's the last thing it knew before that zipped. So I understand where it's going with that. But that's as far as I can come up with this Peter the final spell that Peter has.
Yeah.
That's the best I guess the best we got is that okay, so we'll just do this. In his formal circle, anybody that had a connection to Peter Parker and Spider-Man don't remember Peter Parker. Period. Yeah. Uh-oh. Can you not hear me? See if because I can't hear you, so I'm assuming something's up again. Oh, now I can. Now I can.
Okay.
Something happened. Yeah, something happened there. That was weird.
Couldn't tell you.
All right. Yeah. So I think we've beat that dead horse. It was a good movie. I loved it.
We'll see it again. Yeah. We're going to see it again. Probably over Christmas break.
How much did it make? You sent something to me. How much did it make?
It is the third highest grossing film opening weekend. And this was something that my daughter sent me. I don't know if it was of all time or domestic for Marvel. Or for Marvel.
Wow. Okay. However money it made, just imagine how much it would have made without a pandemic. Because there's people still out there that aren't going to theaters.
Going to theaters, yeah.
Yeah. That would have.
It's definitely, it's profitable. We know that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Spider-Man.
So, yeah, I think, you're right. It'd be interesting to see what it would be. But people were still, they're sold out shows.
Yeah.
So
here's the other thing. The last thing on Spider-Man. It forces you to watch the other two Spider-Man movies. Because if you go into this
cold,
not knowing about those other two movies, you're going to be like, what? Who's this guy? How does he know that he's Peter Parker? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So if you don't know any of those other first two movies, so if someone is just like, so my daughter Gwen, when she's watching the MCU, she's never going to connect the other two.
Does that mean the Vulture doesn't know anymore?
Yes.
He doesn't know anymore.
Nobody knows anymore. It's it. It's over. Yeah.
Well, that is interesting.
I guess maybe the only one that knows is that Venom symbiote. That's it. Maybe.
And it might, and the symbiote didn't know until it attached to Spider-Man and got his memories. So,
yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. There's a lot more questions, but I'm excited. I'm very happy it lived up to the hype for me. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I would say that. It certainly did.
Yeah. So, which is very hard to do nowadays. But anyway. All right. Moving on. Greg, you got anything you want to talk about? It's Christmas.
It is Christmas.
Christmas.
Let me look that up.
You got a Christmas drink?
I got a Bloody Mary.
No, like a Christmas drink that it's not Christmas unless you have it. You know, like that?
Kind of. Like I haven't. This isn't like a tradition. So my Uncle David, his wife Linda, she does a hot chocolate, and it's like a crock pot hot chocolate.
Oh, okay.
And it's like literally a bag of chocolate chips, a gallon of milk and some heavy whipping cream, I think.
Okay.
And maybe sugar and cocoa and whatever. I can't remember the entire recipe, but she does it, and then you heat it up in the crock pot so it heats slowly. You stir it up a bunch, and then she serves it like just as regular hot chocolate. It's awesome, but you put a little bit of amaretto in there.
Oh, that would be good.
Ooh, it's a good
tasty treat.
Yeah, little dessert drink.
Yeah,
like around. And I'm not much for hot liquids at all, but I had that at a Christmas party that they threw, and I was like, oh my God, can I get a recipe for this? Because that is phenomenal.
Wow.
So that's become kind of my Christmas drink.
Okay.
But not really. I've tried like Tom and Jerry's and stuff like that, and I was just kind of like, I don't really want.
Yeah.
And that was too much. But
I always get.
You're a nog guy, aren't you?
Health-wise, it's not the best thing to get, but it doesn't matter when it comes to this. I get like official eggnog, not like real. The thicker, the creamier, the better, in my opinion.
Like pancake batter.
Yeah, that's not a bad way. Maybe loose pancake batter, so maybe not as thick, but it's getting there. But yeah, I do that. I pour a little brandy in there and I mix it up, and it just slowly rolls down that throat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kidding. That's not true, but it's good. I love it. That's to me, it's not Christmas unless I have at least one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christmas is going to be weird this year. It's going to be weird because in a very odd, weird way, this Christmas feels more like the pandemic hit in November. Everybody I know
Yeah.
is like, and I'm talking about family members, everybody I know, family member wise, is sick. And I don't think Christmas at my wife's side of the house is canceled because they celebrate on Christmas Eve, because I would say 75% of that family on that side has COVID.
Yeah.
They got it. My sister just called me up today telling me that, like, hey, they're gonna get tested, so Christmas Day might be up in the air. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
And it's weird, man. And Ursula and I are looking at each other like, okay, we got this little girl that we were expecting her to play with all of her cousins and
Yep.
open up all of her gifts from the other side of the family. We got to go out and get some gifts to make it a little bit more festive, or we're thinking of festive
I don't
things
know.
like,
Yeah.
let's make some cookies. Let's make some cookies for preparation to Santa. Like, we're kind of, it's like, we're rolling with the punches now. We have to figure out, okay, how do we make this a good Christmas for her instead of just an irregular good day?
Right. Well, a couple things. One, she's not going to remember this one. She's not going to remember
long term,
don't
probably
remember.
not.
Yeah.
But
you can still have fun with her. I mean, to her, a fun day is a fun day.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah. You're right. I think a lot of it's in our heads.
It is. I believe it is.
Yeah.
That's the idea of like when people travel to Disney or like a theme park with a child the age of Gwen. Like, we have to make this extra special. It's like, one, she's going to look at pictures and be like, yeah, I kind of remember that. I remember like, being freaked out at this point or something like that. But they're not, I mean, and then people that try to do something like that, like an adult would, like, we're getting there at 10 and we're leaving when the park closes. You can't do that with a child.
Yeah.
So I like what you're thinking about, like the cookies and the, maybe some fun Christmas movies or something like that. Or, I mean, you live in a very populous area where you could maybe go out and find something.
Well, we're thinking about looking for those, like a drive-through festive lights show.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Go like festival lights or something like that.
Yeah, we're thinking of doing something like that. But we have this very sneaky suspicion that Christmas, in a way, or how we know it, is going to be canceled.
Okay.
Yeah, we just think it's going to go that way. How's it going up by you? Is a lot of people sick around your area? Or?
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff going around for sure. At the same time, I mean, we're fighting off stuff in my house, and so I'm kind of like, but still, my Christmas traditions are always going to someone else's house. Like, I want a Christmas where we can be at home all day with nobody else. And even the times that we've tried, we don't do it.
Right.
And I think even this year, I don't think it's going to happen, because like one family or another is like, hey, here's what's happening. And, you feel then the guilt sets in of like, well, should we really do I mean, all that stuff.
Right.
And,
yeah, I get it.
And because even when the world was initially in lockdown, we had family members that are just like, well, it's lockdown, but not really, not for us, because we're clean people or whatever it was. I mean,
well, I think people in 2020 were extra cautious.
Yeah.
Not around now us. I think now most people are just kind of like, if I get it, I get it. And now it's like, and people are going to events now more than they've had before.
They were, yeah.
And so now you're catching it, you're getting it now. And
well, if you remember when we had Nurse Erin on a year and a half ago, she's like, at some point you're going to get it.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it's here, it's in the country. You're never going to fully escape it, even with the vaccinations and things like that. It's like sooner or later, everybody's going to get some form of this.
Right.
and that'll be it. Like,
Yeah.
it's here to stay. Just, and if it's, you get vaccinated and then boosters and all this other stuff, however often you need to do that. Okay. But even with those, you can still get it.
Yeah.
Will you die of it? Probably not.
Yeah.
But that, and that's the thing. I mean, I know this isn't to start a vaccination discussion, but
no,
are you going to die from it? No, but you still need to be safe. Things like that.
Well, I think there's a certain, again, we're not going to go this far into it, but I think there's a certain amount of responsibility you have to take.
Right. And
however,
you're right about
whatever you feel that is.
Yep. Numbers are going up all over the place. So
yeah. What's funny is in the NFL, I think there's 3 teams that had, they had 25 or more people that were COVID positive.
Yeah.
Like that's, you take 25 people away from a 52-man roster.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're gonna be a little short.
And there are people trying to be in the hunt for playoff spots.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. But anyway, it's just weird. I just feel like it's on fire in this country right now. It's just it's coming over it's like spreading like a fire just everywhere. So be safe out there, everybody. You know, just if you feel take an extra precaution, might want to do that if you don't want to ruin a Christmas.
I think the Christmas for us this year, with precautions and things like that, is that we're still going to see the same people.
Yeah.
I just think the visits are going to be much shorter than usual.
Fair enough. I don't think we're going to go anywhere. I just have the sneaky suspicion that we're not going to go anywhere.
I'm jealous.
And that everybody's going to do Christmas in January or February.
No,
next year.
I would probably prefer that because February is kind of a slow month. But man, I would love to just spend a Christmas at home with my wife and kids. Like
you gotta that. Yeah, I get that. But you got a big, you got a big family though. And right now, Gwen loves her nephews and her cousins.
Her cousins.
She loves her cousins. She loves to play with them. She's excited about going over there, and she's not going to be able to go over there. So that's a little heartbreaking for Ursula and I. And not only that, there's some things that are very there's some things that Ursula has on Christmas Eve that makes it Christmas for her. So I'm going to have to go out to some Polish deli and get some of these things that because there's certain things that I just speak to her, you know. It's probably the aroma that creates that memory of that time back in the day. So it's going to be a little different, but I think Ursula and I are going to pull together and we'll figure out. I think, we'll go to that Polish deli and get her. I think it's borscht. It's beet soup in Polish.
Borscht.
Yeah, that's it. And it's it can dye anything in the world.
Yep. Including your intestines.
Yeah. So I think she needs that, and she needs her pierogi and things like that. So we'll probably do that. And then we do this thing, I think it's called Krumpke, where you break off a little vanilla wafer and wish each other like good health for the next year or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's what we'll do with that. Do we want to save all the movies of 2021?
Oh no, that's
next week.
Yeah, we're not doing that now.
That's next week though.
Yeah, but I do have a different one.
Okay.
So what John's talking about is that I was putting together our top 10 list of films for the year, but that's for more of our New Year's show and not so much the Christmas show. The Christmas topic, Thunder, is what were some of the Christmas gifts you got as a kid that you just vividly remember? And I was watching, it's on HBO Max. It's a film called 8-Bit Christmas.
Okay.
Stars Neil Patrick Harris. He's telling his daughter the story of how he got his first Nintendo Entertainment System.
Is this something I need to watch?
I think you should.
Okay.
I really think you should. And the advertisement for it, everything else is just about the craze that happened. It's based in Chicago. So about, just the nutty things these kids were doing to get their hands
on a
Nintendo Entertainment System. Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I do. I remember the Christmas where we got our Nintendo Entertainment System. I don't remember the year. In fact, I was talking to my mom earlier today. We were trying to figure out, because they say that in the movie, they're like, the year was 1989. I'm like, it had to be before 89 that craze happened. I think it was
Maybe
more like,
not.
I think it was more like 85.
Really?
I do. Because like in 89,
Nintendo. We're talking about the first Nintendo,
the
right?
8-bit Nintendo, yeah. In 89, my brother would have been like a year out of high school, and he didn't give a shit about video games at that point.
Sorry, guys. We're looking
So
it up.
now,
That's
yeah,
why
now we're
yeah.
looking up when the Nintendo
It came-
Entertainment System
1983.
1983. So I think we got ours
84, 85. I think you're
84,
right.
85. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
don't think we didn't get one the first year it came out. I think it took a year.
That's right.
Right.
NES.
Mhm.
Actually, it was from 85 to 95. They didn't change the system.
Correct. Yeah, that's when the Super
So
Nintendo.
it could have been at any time you got that.
Well, and we got it. I think we got it the year after, because that's
Okay.
when my brother still would have been interested in video games.
Yeah.
We were swapping cartridges with
What was your
friends of
favorite one?
ours.
What was your favorite one?
Oh God, what did I play a lot of? Played a lot of Contra because we had that, and
I remember
and
that.
you could get through it with the cheat code.
Yeah.
I liked a game called Rygar a lot.
I remember Rygar.
I can't remember the name of it. I think it was called Karloff. Like it was this Russian dude who could jump and spit fire.
Cool.
Played that a little bit.
I don't remember that.
The Mario games.
I was
the
Legend of
Excite Bike.
Zelda all night, all day.
See, I didn't get into Zelda so much because I didn't get into the story. I'm like, this is just running around and maps moving. Metroid, like Metroid.
We loved. My sister had got it, so I kind of just watched her get it. And remember, I come from two separate houses, so I'm like on my dad's side, my stepsister got it, Alexis got it, and I would sit back all night long with her, and I was her guy in the chair. I was telling her, check that out, go there. I was reading the book, of where to go and the
Nintendo Power.
Yeah. So
Remember
those are good
Genie?
times, huh?
Remember the Game Genie? You like would put your cartridge
Into the Genie.
onto the Game Genie, and the Genie went in, and it would change the code of the game so you could cheat.
I remember the Game Genie, but I don't remember that. That's what it was for.
That was for cheating at the game. Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah. But anyway, the Topic Thunder was what? What was the question actually?
Well, just like
about Nintendo.
Well, yeah, because what were some of the gifts that really just stick out in your head of like, I remember that Christmas when I opened up that gift.
You want me to go? I think I told you about this. My G.I. Joe Christmas.
Oh, did you get the flag? Was that right?
The flag?
The USS flag? The aircraft carrier?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
I got the aircraft. Guys, if you don't remember what this thing is, they came out with an aircraft carrier that was probably 4 foot long.
I believe it was 5. It was
okay.
USS flag.
I remember sleeping on it one day.
Yeah. It's one of the more sought after collector's gifts ever because
oh my God,
come out with that many.
Yeah. I got the aircraft carrier, and it took my aunt and my uncle all night Christmas Eve to put it together. And I had it Christmas Day. And all I wanted was the figure, because the figure proved I had it.
Oh, the captain?
Whatever his name was? Admiral or whatever. Whoever was in charge of the aircraft carrier. I remember that. But that was the year I asked everybody, what do you want for Christmas? I told my mom strictly, I don't want any underwear. I don't want any clothes. I want a G.I. Joe. Whatever G.I. Joe you want to get it, coordinate it. And my mom did a great job. She coordinated. I never got a repeat figure.
Wow.
She coordinated beautiful. I think my entire G.I. Joe collection was based off of that Christmas, because I was loaded. I had almost everybody.
Nice.
After that, there wasn't much. Nothing's gonna really top that G.I. Joe Christmas. Yeah, I don't remember a lot after that. What about you?
Oh, yeah, I remember quite a bit. I remember opening the Nintendo, but I don't remember much else from that year.
What was your Red Ryder BB gun? Which one was that for you? What was your gift of all time?
I remember one year. So it was the year we got the G.I. Joe train set that year. My brother and I both got that, like, as a joint gift. And then I can't remember what my brother got, but I got Jetfire from the Transformers, the Jet.
Oh,
and he was
okay.
kind of hard to find.
Okay.
And I played with him for like his arm fell off. Like it like I was playing with it, just went and it fell off. I'm like, how, what? Taking my dad couldn't fix it. And so, I mean, it wasn't long. It was like maybe a day or two.
Oh,
and so
that's
mom's like, do you have the box still? I'm like, yeah. So she's like, well, I'll take him back and get you another one.
Yeah.
Okay. And he never came back. And I'm like, well, what the hell? It turns out that they didn't have any more. They couldn't get any more. So mom had a gift card for Toys R Us that she hung on to for a year. And the following year, I got Turbo Train, was the train that like went up the wall and down again.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, the Turbo.
And that was cool, but I'm like, it's not Jetfire.
Yeah, it's not Jetfire.
I remember that. I remember my Fireball Island year, the board game.
Fireball Island. I do
Island.
remember that. That's kind of like an Indiana Jones game,
yeah,
right?
Very much
Yeah.
so. They did a remake of it like a year or two ago that I supported the Kickstarter. So I have a huge Fireball Island set in my house.
Very cool.
It's different than the original, but it's still there.
Yeah. I actually remember, you know who I remember something other than G.I. Joe. Do you remember the movie that came out, Steven Spielberg, American Tail, about the little mouse?
Oh yeah. 50
Mousekewitz.
Yeah.
Yes.
American Tail. Yeah.
They came out with a stuffed animal. Like they didn't have toys, they had the stuffed animal. And I remember like that was my Red Ryder. Like I wanted that. I didn't want anything else that year. I wanted 50 Mousekewitz. And I remember my aunt put me in a little scavenger hunt to go find it. Ended up being in her car. Yeah.
What? And one year, my brother and I both got Care Bears, and I remember we were really excited for it. And now you look back, you're like, we were into Care Bears. I don't remember really being into Care Bears.
You weren't the only one.
Everybody was. Like,
I asked my dad for a Care Bear. My father, I asked for a Care Bear. He had to think like, and this is okay.
This is where it starts, right?
Yeah. My father, guys, is like how do I explain? Very, very old school. A man's a man, right?
Yeah.
So imagine an 7-year-old boy walking up to
Archie Bunker and asking for a Care Bear.
Care Bear, yeah. And then so I'm sure my father, I remember not getting a Care Bear. I remember getting a Nerf football.
Yep. That sounds about right from your dad.
Yeah.
I'm trying the other one that I remember what happened when I was in high school. And it was we got tickets to a Badgers basketball game. Now, my family, we didn't go to sporting events. We didn't get tickets to things. I mean, that's just not something that my family did. Right. So when it was in our stockings. I remember like we always open the stockings first, and Dad's like, nope, we're going to do regular presents this year first. We're like, why? The stockings that was where we had deodorant, like toothpaste, and then there was always like a really big orange, a really big apple, and a bag of candy. Like, but it was like the essential stuff. Like, and then we got it right in the top where it was tickets. Like they weren't like courtside seats or anything. Like, they were decent seats,
right?
To a Badgers basketball game. We're like, oh my God, we're going to go to Madison to a game. And it was the year like I'm trying to think of some of the players that year. It would have been like 90, 95.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
that's when they were starting to rise.
Really good. Yeah.
What was that? What was his name? Finley?
Yeah.
There's a Finley on there, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. And for some reason, Michael Finley sticks out of my head, but I think
that might be it. He ended up going to Dallas.
Yeah.
Michael Finley. I remember him. Yeah.
Like really good.
Yeah.
He did it. He dunked right in front of us. It was great.
Oh, that's cool. So you had courtside seats?
No, it wasn't courtside, but it was up.
Close enough.
Yeah, it was close enough. It was just up high enough where like you were like their heads were at eye level.
Oh, cool.
And really good seats. So the UW field houses where they played at that point.
Yeah.
But it fell on the same day as, because I did musical theater, I had a show choir competition, and it was Broadhead's first ever time in a competition. Maybe it was our second time. It was our second time. So I was a sophomore when we went.
Okay.
And it would have been Christmas of 93 that we got these tickets. And so it was like, oh, we thought possibly we had a shot at making it to the finals of this competition for show choir. And if we did, that meant that I would have I would have had to stay for another performance and I would have missed the game.
Okay.
So I remember when the judging came out and I told the director, I'm like, okay, here's the situation. Like if we get in, of course I stay, I perform, that's the thing. Said if we don't get in, I'm not staying for the rest of the competition. I'm going to leave and go to the Badger game. And he's like, and at the time he's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So we're there at the day and they're announcing who's getting into the finals. Top 5 groups get into the finals. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, don't get in. I don't want to get in. Right. I don't want to get in. And we didn't get in. And I was like, okay, yeah, I got to go. And so we report out and I remember him just being pissed that we didn't get in. And I was like, what's he so mad about? Like, because we were this small ass school that had no chance of getting into this competition. But yeah, I was just like, okay. Then we left. I remember it being bitterly, bitterly cold that day. Like we're walking into the stadium, just freezing my ass off.
I don't have a lot of high school Christmas memories, actually. I don't have a lot.
I think that's the only one I remember. Like nothing else really sticks out of my head. Like this was really something cool.
Yeah. I don't have a lot.
I mean, I'm sure I got other cool stuff, but
yeah, that's
the one that really sticks out for me.
Yeah. How about anybody out there listening to us? If we have any listeners out there, anybody that Christmas memory, a toy that you guys thought was your holy grail of toys, or the one you remember that you wanted so bad, your Turbo Man doll, and you got it or you didn't get it, or
give me the Turbo Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty silent out there.
Put down my Christmas cookies. Yeah. It's my Christmas cookies. So I think that's it, bud.
Yeah, I think that is it.
Yeah, I think we're golden. I think we're good. So, guys, if you have not seen Spider-Man No Way Home, go see it. It was fun. It's good. It's a love letter to Spider-Man. It's a love letter to the entire cinematic universe of Spider-Man.
Really is.
Yeah,
it really is.
So they did a good job. I was very happy. Shocked. It got emotional. There was a lot of heart in it. There was a lot of it had everything, really.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah. What's your number one MCU movie?
For me, it's Captain America: First Avenger.
Oh, okay.
That's my movie.
All right.
So
sounds good. All right, man. All right. Greg, sign us out, sir.
I go through the rules every week, but really for this one, because it's Christmas season and you're going to be running into family, some people you love, sometimes you love to tolerate. I mean, it's going to be a big mix of people for you coming up. So really, we're just going to focus on rule number 3. Don't be a douche, because once you let something out of your mouth, you can't take it back. And you got to really ask yourself, is it worth it? Will it change their opinion? And do I want to put up with that? And if it's not going to do any good other than to make you maybe feel better, just keep it in your head. Yeah, and don't be that kind. Don't be that kind of guy. Keep the Christmas spirit. Keep the cheer. God bless you all.
Yeah. So for the Greg, this is Johnny saying happy holidays, everybody. And we will see you next week to go over our 2021 list.
Year in review.
Yeah, year in review. All right. Everybody take care. We love you. See you later. Podcast out, everyone. See ya.